The Outdoor Report is brought to you on WCQM by Lakeside Property Services and Management of Park Falls. Find Lakeside on Facebook.
No matter what the season, let Nick and his professional team from Lakeside Property Services and Management take care of all your landscaping and yard care needs, from mowing to plowing and everything in between, including patio, walkway, and driveway lighting, yard beautification, and maintenance. Trust them to manage your summer homes with complete peace of mind. Just call Nick at 715-661-8114 at Lakeside Property Services in Park Falls, Wisconsin. Nick says landscaping should be the first thing you see and the last thing you worry about.
I'm Rob Drieslein, and this is from the pages of the Outdoor News, brought to you by Onyx Fish and coming at you from the Fleet Farm studio. Attention Badger State boaters. You need to be aware that the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has increased law enforcement plan for this upcoming holiday weekend. Operation Dry Water will run July 4th to the 6th and kick off in Green Bay. More details when we return, but first, you fish the same waters year after year. But what if your next best fishing story is just a few miles away? Onyx Fish builds on 15 years of experience, giving hunters and adventurers a revolutionary angling tool to help you find new water, new access, and new fish. Find the right lake. Know the species, size, and abundance. Get expert local insight. Navigate to the right ramp fast. Then go fish in new lakes like they're your home waters. Don't chase reports. Make your own with Onyx Fish. The Wisconsin DNR will join law enforcement agencies nationwide for Operation Dry Water, an annual campaign to prevent boating while impaired to keep water safe for all during the July 4th to 6th holiday weekend. Boating under the influence is illegal in Wisconsin. Impairment from alcohol or drugs significantly increases the risk of incidents, injuries, and fatalities. DNR conservation wardens and local law enforcement will be out on state lakes and rivers for Operation Dry Water, sharing education about safe boating while watching for operators who may be impaired or causing safety problems for themselves and others. Operation Dry Water promotes a zero-tolerance policy for alcohol on the water, meaning they encourage everyone on the boat, not just the operator, to remain sober. Learn more about the campaign on the Operation Dry Water website. Link to it via dnr.wisconsin.gov. From the Fleet Farm studio, this has been From the Pages of the Outdoor News.
Northwoods weather.
Partly to mostly cloudy with a slight chance of a scattered thunderstorm this afternoon. Our high right around 80 today. Tonight, mostly clear. We're going to drop down to the upper 50s to near 60. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 59.
98Q Country.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
What would you say you do here?
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
What would you say you do here?
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand it? What the hell is wrong with you people?
I feel like we're doing the Deer Hunters Roundup again. Where's my mic on when I'm singing? There's a live stream going. I'm singing because I thought the mic was still off. I was trying to catch it. Halfway through the week is fine, and he hit that on. I was like, hey man, that's. We are, for the first time since the Deer Hunters Roundup, we are streaming at 98Q Country web YouTube page, youtube.com, search for 98Q Country. I put a link on the Facebook site too. And we're doing that because we have, I think, a visual that, maybe 2 visuals. We might have Skeeter the Clown stopping by to promote the circus this weekend too. So we might have the consumption of a box of, or at least cheese.
So we're live streaming because we might need a cheese. Is that what we're going to leave
because your morning show guy might pass out. We want visual evidence of this. He was a big racer. I was looking online. His first race he ever won was in Milwaukee, and he was like NASCAR Racer of the Year or something. Buckshot Johnson on the front, 2000.
Yeah, I was 6 years old when these were released.
25-year-old Cheez-Its, and this has a great memory for me because my dad worked for this company. I grew up on Cheez-Its, always had Cheez-Its in the house, always had
Why
Cheez-Its.
did that sound wrong? That didn't sound like the correct noise for Cheez-Its to make when you shake them.
I said this morning, when I shake the box, they sound soggy.
Yeah, they don't sound correct.
There's my brain is telling me not right. I don't know why. I don't know the details.
But I don't know if it's just soggy or the fact that the box is actually full. And nowadays, when we shake box and bags, they're always moving because there's a lot of air in there and they're not as full. But this is a full box of Cheez-Its right here.
That might just be the perfect blank canvas, though, the ambiguous noise that it makes. That's the perfect place for me to create my nervousness. That sounds wrong. No, it sounds normal, but I'm going to say it sounds wrong because I don't know what normal sounds like when you shake a box of 25-year-old snacks.
Yes.
Speaking of snacks, Oreos.
Yes.
I saw a post recently about Oreos, and it said Oreos must be stopped, and I am of the opposite opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I immediately knew what the post was about, and it was that there are too many flavors or that they're trying too hard. If you haven't gone through the snack and cookie aisle, even if just Walmart, Super One's great too, but I will say Walmart has a couple more options because they're Walmart. But shop local. Anyway, there's so many flavors of Oreos, which is one thing, but they're good. There's a lot of really good flavors of Oreos available right now. And if you want a recommendation, I'll give you 2. Tiramisu and Toffee Crunch.
What the heck is a tiramisu?
So what is tiramisu? That is a fantastic question. That is a famous, I don't know if it's actually Italian in origin. I'm guessing so, but it's a dessert that's very famous for being available over in Italy. But it's ladyfingers drizzled in coffee. So it's basically like, it's kind of like cake with coffee in it, but it's not just a layer of cake. It's a layer of ladyfingers and then drizzled in. And then you get a layer of, I believe technically it's creme patisserie, one of those creamy French basic fillings, and then more coffee, chocolate. It's basically chocolate coffee cake with cocoa sprinkled over the top.
There's a lot going on.
In an Oreo. But here's the thing. They took all that, and they didn't just put it in an Oreo. They put it in a thin Oreo. And the thin Oreos are the better Oreos. They're crispier.
Okay.
And there's less filling, so you don't encounter that oiliness that you get ever since they swapped over from the dairy-based to the oil-based, shortening-based fillings. Oreo, you did that wrong. Normal Oreos have never been worse, but they're distracting us from that with a plethora of... Joel is staring off into space like, I can't believe I'm getting an Oreo rant right now. It's like, I cannot believe... I did not open a can of Oreo nonsense today.
I'm trying to figure out where I stand on this because I'm willing to try. I'm willing to try them. But when it comes to me having, in the middle of a winter afternoon on a January 10th where I get home and it's just 10 below outside and I want a cup of coffee and something sweet with it, I'm still going for the traditional Oreo. See, I'll take the traditional Oreo and I'll break it up into 4 or 5 little pieces and just little morsels of sweetness. I'm not sure I want all that other explosive flavor thing going on. I'm willing to try it. But I'm old school. I'm Oreo and the Blizzard kind of guy, and just old school.
I will always tell you to try the new thing, but I will never pretend that you're a fool for liking the classic better. The song itself is a classic, and it says it so well. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie will forever go together in a classic combination, and that's 100% correct. There is full stop there, but there's a world just 15 degrees to the left with a lot going on, man.
It's a lot, yes. The world of Oreos. It's wonderful.
Happy
All
Monday.
right. Yes, happy Monday. Joel here, Gray here. We do this each Monday. We talk about
Oreos.
Oreo, whatever comes up, whatever's on our mind, whatever's on the menu. It's just a light way to start the week, considering everything else going on in the world and what they're voting on today and all that stuff. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce just shortly because they haven't been in the news, but I saw a couple of stories about them and some of the great work that they're doing for charities and homeless shelters and stuff. And there's a reason why Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are not in the news very much, because they're not very fun to follow right now. They're doing good things. They're good people, and they're doing good things. And they're not out there having wild parties at nightclubs or whatever it might be. They might do that a little bit. But I thought it was just so much Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce bashing going on with the Chiefs the last couple of years that I just wanted to let people know that those two are doing some pretty cool things for the world.
I'm not personally familiar because I'll be honest, I saw that you put Taylor and Travis on the list, and I thought, Joel, we may have to bring you out back behind the barn, and it might be time because you and I have neatly avoided Taylor and Travis, and I've been okay with that. And not to knock people who, follow that, do the celebrity couple thing, but it's never appealed to me. I've never wanted to parallel my life with somebody's, and I know that's not what people are trying to do. It just, I don't know, there's an element of that level of interest in celebrity couples' lives that, I don't know, it crosses over into that parasocial relationship pretty easily. You accidentally trick your brain into believing these people are your friends, and these people don't know you exist. I try to step back from it.
It always amazes me that for some reason the human nature is to be interested in those who are doing weird and stupid and awful things. They're all over the place. The crime shows on TV and the documentaries about serial killers, and they're all over the place. There's not too many documentaries about the celebrities who go home to their kids at night and then donate millions of dollars to the local shelter. There's just not that story because people, for whatever human nature is, we're not as interested in that as we are the super abnormal.
Yeah. Like. I gravitate towards that, and yes, there is a certain glamour to it, and yeah, these are beautiful people. So I understand that, like, we have a subconscious bias towards those people who society labels attractive, whatever. I don't even generally think of it to that degree. It's just when I think of Travis and Taylor, I think that's got to be a level and flavor of stress that I'm probably super lucky to never experience. Like Taylor's travel is scrutinized because her jet and its flight records are public knowledge. Now, I've got feelings about Taylor's travel and the amount of fuel she burns, but I also understand that it is a luxury to me that nobody gives an anything about how much fuel I burn in a day. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
There's no website out there tracking what's Gray's Subaru burning, Nobody cares.
If you're a big celebrity, they will find something to get you on.
Yeah. I think one of the first things you'd learn when you got famous is how nice it was to not be famous.
Yeah.
I really do.
So when should I wait till the end of the show to do this so I don't pass out the Cheez-Its? Let's do it. Let's do it in the second segment. How about we'll kick off the second segment after the bottom of the hour news.
Let me look up Broadcasting 101. We're going to build some suspense here.
We are going to build some suspense, if there is such a thing. 25-year-old box of Cheez-Its.
25. What are we
from
doing?
The year 2000. I want to know if they look the same.
I didn't make this decision. Why am I doing this? I don't have to do this. Is voluntary.
I want to know if they look. My wife said to me last night, before as we said goodnight to each other, she said tomorrow, she said, when you come home, I don't want to hear anything about how you feel.
Yeah. Rachel, when I said this was voluntary, Rachel gave me the look like, yeah, you're doing what you're doing, and you're doing it. Like,
she said, if your stomach doesn't feel good and you're whatever, she says, I really don't want to hear about it.
Yep.
So I'm on my own right here.
Well, see, I'm hoping I can put myself in a position to go home a little bit early today, but it's not like that. There's no Brewer game. So if this goes poorly, it goes poorly all day, Joel, and I'm blaming you.
I discovered something over the weekend that I thought was rather insightful, in the fact that why we are in a certain
information-wise, tons of information out there with the web and all that stuff, but it seems like with all the information out there, the more we have, the less informed that a lot of people are. And I was going through some different websites, and I was constantly running into blocks of a headline, and then you click on the headline. In order to read the story, what do you got to do? You got to pay. It's very difficult right now to go on the website, which is where a lot of people are getting their news, information, and stories, and to read more in depth about a story, because a lot of them that you click on, read more here, you have to subscribe to. And what do most people do when they see that?
That go somewhere else.
They exit out and they get out of there. And I think that is a problem because newspapers are still there, but they're not there like they used to be.
Yep.
So getting the real information behind the headline for people is hard. It's getting harder.
I do have a small can of worms about this. You wanna dive in?
Oh, I love a can of worms.
Okay.
Yes, sir. In fact, there may be worms inside this Cheez-It box right here, which we're opening up after the bottom of the hour.
So, full disclosure, these are all my own personal opinions, may or may not represent the feelings of Civic Media, 98Q Country, Joel Karnick, or the Pope. It bothers me because the motivations of news establishments are not what they used to be. So like when we play ABC News a couple times an hour, the reasons that is here means we can trust a certain level of like those stories are there because those people brought them to us because they want us to have that info. But not every news publication is like that anymore. And in fact, there is a whole industry not around, I'm not going to call it anything, I'm not going to label it, but there's news that's motivated not by how many subscriptions they sell, but how many advertisements they can show to their users on a website.
Okay.
And the moment that instead of subscription sales, your bottom line is determined by advertising, it's now determined by how many people you can get to your website. So what does that actually mean? Well, now I don't care what they do when they get here. I just care about getting them here. And automatically we're in Jerry Springer land. What do I mean by that? Jerry Springer was taken over by a producer about halfway through its lifespan. It started out as a very tame and reasonable thing. But it was taken over by a producer whose name I don't remember, but his philosophy was we need to appeal to the people scrolling channel to channel to channel. Click, click, click. The old channel surfing that you can't even really do anymore because TVs don't work the same way. But click, click, click. And you get, 2 seconds of each channel. And the goal was there needs to always be something on screen that will grab you.
Right.
For that 2 seconds that you're on channel 13 where Jerry Springer was for that half hour, because we need to stop you scrolling. We need to grab you and get you here. And once you're here, well, it's different in that model, but it's kind of the same for today's day and age. Once you're there, there's a little counter. It's like one of those little silver pitch counters that your bus driver used to use. It's on the website, and it counts how many people have clicked on that website, how many people have been here in a day. It's just counting how many users are there. And why? Because that website can then turn around and say, we see 20,000 unique users a day buy ads on our page.
Right.
So let's backtrack. All of a sudden, instead of subscription sales, our bottom line is met by advertisers paying us to place their ads, and the only thing those advertisers care about is how many users are here in a day.
As long as they came there at some point.
Exactly.
At some point.
And so what does that mean for the actual website? Well, when it was subscription sales, when it's a paper boy dropping off a paper, how are you picking which paper you buy? The fastest and most accurate information. Or if you've got a 12-year-old, the funniest comic strips. There are exceptions to every rule. But by and large, the filter that determined what news sources survived and which ones died off were which ones were the fastest and most accurate. That was the competition. Now it's who can attract the most attention.
Right. Clickbait, right?
Yes.
It's clickbait.
The basic source of the driving revenue for the industry has shifted from accuracy to outrage.
Yeah.
It's how can I get you here? How can I add you to my pile that I can then show to advertisers who then pay me regardless of what got you here? You know, it's It's not the New York Times versus the Chicago Sun competing for speed, coastal versus Midwest, and Chicago's going to get the lead in Wisconsin because they're a little bit closer to Wisconsin and they can distribute faster, and they've got that doesn't even matter anymore. That's dying off. Chicago's got the spammiest ads that use the brightest colors, and they've paid a little bit extra to get them in more places next to your Facebook feed. Voila. I mean, and because of that, quality will suffer. I hate to say it. I hate to be the naysayer, and I hate it. It's invariably political. But like I said, there are exceptions to every rule. Why is ABC News here on 98Q? Because that's quality reporting that's vetted, that is brought to you because it's information that you need to have. There are still channels that do it that old school way that are still motivated. You know, because it's brought to the listening audience by you and me, people who care. We're checking and we're making sure that there's still people who care at the origin point.
Yep, and that's why when you see stories or you stream wherever you're perusing on your phone or the computer, you always see the headlines, and most of them will leave you like, what?
Yeah.
You know, will leave you wanting to click to see more. And like you just said, that person or that company that put that out there, when you click on that, that's what they want. They don't care what you do beyond that.
Yep.
Yeah, they'd like you to hang around a while because there's stats for that. But once they get that, that's a view or that's a look. And when you look on YouTube and you see a video has 8 million views, well, half of those may have only been there for 5 seconds, but they don't care. They're
Exactly.
views. You went there.
Exactly.
You went there.
That leads me to an interesting point where I somewhat slightly disagree with the point that you made, which you started this by mentioning subscription news sites and that they're really pervasive and they bother me too. And one of the first things I usually do is click away from them. But there's an exception, and that is locally based subscription news services.
Mm-hmm.
I will hold those up because they are the only ones still doing it the way that it used to be done,
Right.
in a way that is filtered by accuracy and speed. So like if you've got, if you're searching Price County news and you get a Price County establishment that's asking you for $2 a month, okay, I'm actually asking myself if I might do that, and chances are I probably will. In fact, I do have a couple $2 subscriptions to Northwoods, Price County. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I subscribe to those
Yeah.
services because they're locally based. I know the person who's doing the writing. He's a really nice guy, takes a good picture, and that's local employment. So like there's still room for locality.
Sure.
But as always, it's the same. It's the rules of the jungle. Whatever can grow the fastest can then sustain itself. So if you've got a species of undergrowth that's undercutting the locals, cool, the DNR is going to be on that because it's going to outcompete that traditional old wood forest is suddenly threatened by some weed that's come up through. Well, that weed is advertisement-based subscription services. If all you've got to do is get me there, then I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole because the things you do to get me there...
Exactly. This is the gray area with Joel here, Gray over there, and we're going to open up this after we hear the news here. Stay tuned. We'll see if your morning guy is going to be around any longer.
Or if I get canceled by the FCC, there's like 3 big dudes about to bust down the door.
Are you going to take a bite of this, Cheez-Its?
All
right, we'll find out. The news is next.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Senate reconvening in about a half hour to work on the president's budget bill as a former big-time Donald Trump ally is speaking out against it.
Upping the pressure, billionaire Elon Musk weighing back into the political fray after exiting the administration last month, saying the bill will destroy millions of jobs in America, labeling it utterly insane and destructive.
ABC Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce. North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis, one of only 2 no GOP votes on a procedural measure ahead of the budget vote, has announced that he will not be seeking re-election. Police say a man armed with a rifle set a wildfire on Sunday and then began shooting at first responders who showed up to put it out. A standoff followed. The gunman found dead nearby. 2 firefighters killed, all of it happening on a mountain near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. NBA free agent Malik Beasley under investigation regarding gambling allegations on league games. This is ABC News.
Civic Media News. I'm Austin Bermain. Here's what Northern Wisconsin needs to know. In this active time of road construction, we have some reminders for you. Starting with, please remember to pay attention when within the work zone. Remember, it is prohibited and even outright illegal in certain jurisdictions to be on your cell phone when within a work zone. And please remember to slow down as well. Remember, even though you dislike the workers blocking traffic, they don't want to block the traffic any more than you want them there. And they would like to make it home at the end of the day. So we'd like to repeat, please pay attention when within work zones. Remember to add extra time to your commute. And as always, go ahead and grab that second cup of coffee for the journey, because we know that road construction can be absolutely thrilling to work through. Sunday, July 6th at 8 p.m. over at Copper Falls State Park, presenters Aaron Motherway and Eli Sofovich are bringing to you Universe in the Park. This is a 30 to 40 minute astronomy talk at sunset, followed by telescope viewing, weather permitting. The talk is great for ages 8 and up, and the viewing is excellent for children ages 4 and up. Presenter Erin Motherway is a graduate student at UW-Madison pursuing her PhD in astronomy. Her research thus far has consisted of studying the evolution of binary star systems found in different areas of the universe, such as within star clusters or in the field of space. Presenter Eli Sofovich earned a Bachelor's of Science in Astronomy and Chemistry from the University of Illinois and is currently seeking a PhD as a graduate student at UW-Madison's Department of Astronomy. An annual admission sticker or daily pass is required to enter the park, and this event will be held rain or shine. Lawn chairs are an excellent idea. Once again, this is taking place Sunday, July 6th at 8 p.m. over at Copper Falls State Park in Mellon. The Better Business Bureau of Wisconsin is warning homeowners to beware of storm chasers after a natural disaster such as a storm, flooding, or wildfires. Melissa Kay has more.
Not all storm chasers and out-of-town contractors are scammers, but some may lack the proper licensing for the area, they may offer quick fixes, or make big promises they won't keep. The BBB recommends contacting your insurance company first. After that, do your research to find trusted contractors or get references from friends and relatives. Resist high-pressure sales. Be especially wary of door-to-door contractors. Don't sign over insurance checks to contractors, and be cautious of requests to pay for everything up front. Be careful allowing someone you don't know to inspect places you can't see. An unethical contractor may create damage to get work, so get familiar with your home. Keep tabs on the conditions of hard-to-see places often and take pictures. You can find more info at bbb.org.
I'm Austin Bermain. This has been Civic Media News on 98Q Country. For more news, visit 98qcountry.com or civicmedia.us.
The Brewers head to New York. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers on their way to Queens, New York, where they'll face the Mets tomorrow night. The Crew losing to the Rockies yesterday, 4-3 in 11 innings. The game began with Rockies manager Warren Schaefer and batter Tyler Freeman arguing with the umpire about balls and strikes, both ejected. I asked Brewers pitcher Chad Patrick how it went for him.
That first inning was definitely a grind. I felt like I was making good pitches, just trying to get rewarded a little bit, how close they were. Said something, go on from there, but he ended up being right.
Basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks have reached a new 3-year deal with Bobby Portis Jr. worth as much as $44 million. Head coach Doc Rivers.
Listen, Bobby, he's been fantastic every night. Every night he gives us something defensively with his hands and his rebound.
And former Buck Malik Beasley, now with the Pistons, under investigation for gambling. Beasley accused of betting on NBA games 2 years ago while with Milwaukee. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Logger United Booster Club is proudly supported by the David and Kristen Pishka family. They support our local athletic teams wherever the season takes each of them.
Honeyline BP gas station with live bait and tackle, located on Highway 70 between Fifield and Minocqua, is the ultimate stop for anglers this fishing season. They've got live bait, tackle, St. Clair rods, hats, and a huge lure selection to help you reel in that big one. Stock up on beer, wine, groceries, snacks, propane, firewood, diesel, and even deer corn. They have carry kids' toys and life jackets too. Fishing licenses and vehicle registrations available on site. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
At Enbridge, we're proud to give back to the places we call home. Our employees live, work, and give locally as neighbors, friends, and colleagues, fueling regional economies. Tax contributions from our pipelines and facilities flow back into the community, funding schools, infrastructure, and services that matter. Together, we're investing in the future. Learn more at enbridge.com/L5WIS. Tomorrow is on.
Your roof takes a beating from all kinds of weather. Regardless, Hickswood's got your back. Our Super Rib 100 American-made steel outlasts corrosion 60% better than others. topped with an HDPE paint system that won't quit or fade. For any building and your peace of mind, call Hickswood. Quality you can count on. Visit us online at hickswood.com or call 715-644-0765.
Partly to mostly cloudy with a slight chance of a scattered thunderstorm this afternoon. Our high right around 80 today. Tonight, mostly clear. We're going to drop down to the upper 50s to near 60. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 59.
Really, a really, really strong woman on the show. She participates in the Strongman, Strong Woman competitions throughout North America, and she is also our fire eater. So you'll see a small little sideshow demonstration in the ring that day, too. We have silly old Leo. He's one of the very last circus clowns that comes out of a 2 by 2 by 2.5 foot car. Now, both Leo and I graduated from Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College. Me, many moons ago, about 41 years ago or seasons ago, and he was the last graduating class, which I believe was 1997. So he is very young. The difference was he had just turned 18 when he went, and I had turned 27. Because I had been in the world of broadcasting for a while.
Oh, yeah, the good world.
I worked for a little company called Warner Brothers for about 7.5 years for their Cube unit back in 1975. We were the first interactive television where you could talk to your TV and it talked back to you. Basically, we were the first national cable, which means we were 38 channels. That's laughable now. So I'm still in my ring as I speak. But, you know, back then we had the 3 networks, PBS. We had to create 34 other channels. So we created MTV, Nickelodeon, the movie channel. We did about 25 to 30 hours of live programming a week. So it was marvelous. But like back then, technology changed, and I was in it for the live interactive. So I finally got into Ringling Brothers after trying for about 9 years, period. And that was graduated in 1985 and been on the road ever since.
Wow.
Now, I am known as an advanced clown. And up until this year, I wasn't speaking of my egg. I go ahead and I say, the circus is coming. The circus is coming. I tell you who, what, when, and where. The circus is from Hugo, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Now, other than Wisconsin, Oklahoma has probably, especially Hugo, has had probably more circuses than any other state in the United States of America. Now, you know, you guys had a lot of circuses up here because of Ringling Brothers,
Right,
Baraboo,
right.
because they had a reputation of buying up their competition.
Mhm.
So a lot of people would create a circus and go, 3 to 5 years, Ringling will buy us and we'll be set for life. Well, sometimes it worked out that way, and sometimes it didn't. I believe you guys had somewhere close to 80 circuses here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Now, in Hugo, Oklahoma, the Culpeper and Merriweather Great Combined Circus, that's us, that's who you'll be seeing on Sunday, was the 21st circus to move to little old Hugo, Oklahoma.
Wow.
We also have a wonderful cemetery there. It's called Showman's Rest. It's right across from Cowboys Rest. Lane Frost is buried there in Cowboys Rest. And back in the old days, when it was really hard to get interesting tombstones made, we have some very interesting tombstones there at Showman's Rest. We also have the Elephant Preserve, the Ark there, and there is also a Tiger Preserve there now, too.
Wow. What a great history of not only your career in show business, but the circus itself, because it has evolved a little bit over the years, but still the grandness of it and just making everyone feel like a kid again, right?
We always said it was great for 2 to 102, but I got to share a little story with you, Joel.
Yeah.
Because as an advanced clown, I usually do school shows, hospital visitations, daycares, nursing homes, meet and greets, radio programs, anything to get the word out and about. And I was doing a nursing home one day, and I was sitting there and did my little show, and then afterward, this little old man came up to me with big old crocodile tears in his eyes. And I looked at him, I said, I hope those are tears of joy. He says, well... he says, I enjoyed what you do, and I was really looking forward into the circus. I said, well, I know they're going to bring some of you good folks to the circus. He says, yeah, but I guess I can't go now. And I said, well, why? He says, you said the circus was for people 2 to 102. I turned 103 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
So we made sure he got to go to the circus.
Exactly. For kids of all ages, that's for sure. You can get your tickets right here at the radio station. The Chamber has them too, and many locations. And this is Sunday. One show only here in Park Falls on Sunday, right?
One date,
Yeah.
but 2 shows.
2 shows.
And
2 shows.
4:30.
All right.
And then you can come out for the free tour at 9:30 Circus Morning on the 6th.
Very good. All right. And it's going to be right there behind the school, right? Behind the elementary school, right, Courtney?
Right behind the high school and elementary school in the practice fields. And today, actually, our next stop, we're going over to Oh Dear Nutrition, where people can come and do a meet and greet with Skeeter.
Oh, nice, nice.
At 10 a.m. today.
10 o'clock, Oh Dear Nutrition, if you want to bring the kids down, or kids if you want to bring the adults down, whatever it may be, right, Skeeter?
I've been there before.
And we want to be sure your name is Miss Skeeter, not most Skeeter, right? We don't want to offend anyone with that,
I
right?
bite, but I don't draw blood. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I travel, boys and girls love to tell me jokes. So I'm going to leave you with a couple jokes here. And most of these jokes come from 5 and 6 year olds. You know, they keep us honest. So I think I can tell this one on the radio. If not, we'll blame it on the 5-year-old keeping us honest.
All
Okay,
right.
the first one is, why does Peter Pan always fly?
Why does Peter Pan always fly? Okay.
Since we're talking about kids and all of that, you know why Peter Pan always flies?
Why is that?
Because he's from Neverland.
No.
Bump, body, bump, bump, bump.
Skeeter, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See
Yep,
you at
yeah,
the circus.
Yes, Culpeper and Meriwether on Sunday here in Park Falls. And if you miss it, there are some other regional locations. You might want to check that out on the Google just in case.
And you can check us out on the Culpeper Meriwether Facebook to find out more.
Very good. Thank you, Skeeter. Thank you so
Toodles.
much. All right. Thank you, Courtney, for coming in. Appreciate it very much. It is 8:43 coming up in just a moment. Gray will jump back in here, and we're going to do it. We're going to delve into a 25-year-old box of Cheez-Its and see what they taste like. Maybe we can get Skeeter to do a little bit with that. Hang on. I'm going to get to that in just a moment here on the Gray Area.
3, 2, 1.
It's all about the music.
Hey, y'all, it's Tyler Hubbard.
This is my station.
My station. 98Q Country.
All right, a little music on this edition of the Gray Area. Joel and Gray, and you never know what'll happen here. We get the clown stopping by. We get the other clown. I mean, Gray.
Hey, I was gonna say this is the clown chair.
I love it. We had a chance to visit with Skeeter a couple years ago too, and she's always a treat. She has the fun task of going out ahead of time and kind of promoting the circus. She'll be at Oh Dear Nutrition at 10 o'clock this morning. Bring the kids down there. I think you're really going to enjoy your visit with Skeeter down there at Oh Dear Nutrition in downtown Park Falls. We have delayed long enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited and scared at the same time.
Sounds so wrong, Joel.
This is
they
a,
sound wrong.
This
I don't know if it carries over the mic, but when Joel shakes that box, it sounds incorrect.
Buckshot Jones was a NASCAR racer. This is the 2000, right on the top there, 2000 collector's edition right there.
By the way, you want a risky phrase right here on the side of the box. Join the Buckshot Fan Club. That is just begging to be misspoken.
You read, it's too small. You read the ingredients that are involved in this that I am about to delve into. The ingredients for Cheez-Its.
Number 1, we have enriched flour, we have riboflavin, we have vegetable shortening, skim milk,
not bad.
cheese,
I'm sure that milk will age well.
salt, paprika, yeast, and paprika oleoresin color. Now, there are some sub-ingredients, like for enriched flour, that includes 2 different types of flour, niacin, iron, thiamine, mononitrate, which is also known as vitamin B1.
Oh, I like that.
Honestly, like, this is a pretty tame ingredients list. I would believe that this is from 25 years ago when the sun shined a little brighter.
All right, let's delve in. Let's open it up here. It was made 25 years ago, never opened.
You just devalued some 2000 collector's edition Cheez-Its.
I looked
right
on
there.
eBay. Nobody wants it.
I was
Believe
going to
me.
say, there's some nerd on eBay just,
I'll just say this. They're not yellow anymore. They're not orange. They're not cheese colored anymore. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that's pale.
Yeah, they've lost their Cheez-It orange,
Okay.
to say the least. So
Can I feel?
yeah, you
Did-
can
what-
feel
what-
just a little bit.
Oh, they don't feel as soggy as I thought they might have sounded.
So actually, the color of them surprised me. I thought they would keep their color, which they did not.
Now, let's circle back, Joel. These have special personal relevance to you because your dad worked for the company that distributed these.
My dad worked for 30 plus years, and this company Sunshine actually doesn't exist anymore. Although you can still buy Cheez-Its, it's the most,
Right.
it's the #1 selling cheese cracker. Keebler bought Sunshine, but they said, well, Sunshine Cheez-Its are the #1 seller, so we're just going to leave Sunshine on there. And they're also on crispy crackers too. If you go to restaurants, you get the little crackers with the soup. You'll see sometimes there's Sunshine on there. But the company Sunshine, based out of Missouri, does not exist anymore. They were bought out by Keebler.
You are the perfect person to both notice that and know that. Like, you would look at soup cracker brands. Why?
Yes.
Because I am too. Now, the reason I wanted to mention that you have this personal connection means you have a certain level of expertise. Do these strike you as immediately different than they used to look? Like, do you think these have changed color significantly?
Not
as to-
even close to the same color. And I'll just say, I grew up eating Cheez-Its
Right,
that were expired. Because my
okay.
dad would go around to all the small little grocery stores and gas stations in the 70s and early 80s, and he would pull product off the shelf if the expiration date was expired, and he would bring them home. And me and my 3 brothers, we always had Cheez-Its, and we always had Hydrox, and we always had snack crackers. So I know what expired Cheez-Its taste like. I told my dad for years, I said, it wasn't until I left the house I knew what fresh Cheez-Its tasted like because I grew up on expired ones. Not only did we grow up on them, our chickens and our ducks and our turkeys, they all had them too because that's how many we had left over.
I bet they had the softest feathers.
Yeah, so I've eaten a lot of expired Cheez-Its, but I've never eaten a Cheez-It that looks like this. And I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to taste it. So here it is. I'm going to open it.
Spit it right back
I'm
in the
going to give it a
box.
little bit of a smell first of all here and see what. Oh my gosh, that is
How
not
dusty.
That is not a good smell.
Oh, no. No.
That is not a good smell.
No, that is petroleum products, Joel. That is
not a good smell.
I'm
at
not
all.
even tasting
I
those.
was not expecting it to smell like that. To
It
be
smells
honest
like
with you.
turpentine. That actually smells like turpentine.
So
I
this-
wouldn't do it.
Oh my gosh!
Let me get another one of the bag, please.
I really don't want. I really
No.
don't do it, Joel.
You know, like, that smells like it is trying so hard to rot, but it can't. That smells like it's aspiring to decay.
All right, I gotta get.
Ah,
I gotta find.
dang,
I gotta
man.
find out. I promised it, so I gotta find out here. Okay, you ready? Here we go.
Nobody's ready.
25-year-old Cheez-It.
Oh,
On the tongue it goes. Here we go. Ready?
to it.
Well, the cardboard part of it was correct, but after about And the reason why I paused, because there was like a 3 or 4 second delay there that it really wasn't that bad. And then the chemical part of it hit my tongue. And now it's, hang on, I need a drink of water here. Hang on.
You know, like, so if you were to encounter 25-year-old cheese, you'd expect it to be a certain kind of funky. And, like, that explains this a lot better. But it's still not correct. Like, honestly, the first impression I got... The first thing I got was, like, I walk into a building in the middle of August that has a lot of old vehicles in it and a lot of dead flies.
Here come Elizabeth. Here I come. That is disgusting smell. I was not expecting the smell of those to be that bad. I was really not expecting that.
Turpentine.
And actually, the biggest surprise, the smell far worse than what the taste was of it. The taste was just a bad, almost like a gasoline taste to it.
No. Petroleum products.
So I did not swallow it. The taste is lingering on my tongue a little bit. But I think I should be all right.
I was going to throw down with you, but no. You just watch me tap out. I'm not even ashamed. I am not even ashamed.
So if you stumble upon a 25-year-old box of Cheez-Its, ladies and gentlemen, you have learned from your morning show guy, if nothing else, over the last 20. That was actually made right about the time I started here, 25 years ago, almost to the day.
That was when I was in Mrs. Miller's kindergarten class. Those are good days. I still had naps.
We'll see what the next hour has in store. I'm
it's
confident
starting to
it's
travel.
just a very small taste I got in my tongue. I think it should be all right. All right, we're gonna get rid of that. That's got to go in the dumpster because I don't even want to.
Like you left it unsealed and it's starting to linger.
I don't want a squirrel even touching that. I don't want
to
put that through it.
This can't enter the water supply, Joel.
Thanks for putting up with us, everybody. We'll have a better gray area without stale and outdated Cheez-Its, but Skeeter saved the day today. So thanks for Skeeter the Clown for coming in. Miss Skeeter will be at Oh Dear Nutrition. I'm starting to feel a little bit weird. We'll play the news and we'll see what happens. Everybody see ya.
Log United Booster Club is proudly supported by Fast Tracks Excavating in Phillips and have been serving the local community since 2005. They always support our local sports athletes and teams.
We want your business to thrive in the Northwoods. Hi, I'm Courtney from the Park Falls Chamber of Commerce. Are you looking for more customers?
It's
Maybe
been
you'd
fun,
like to hit
everybody.
the ground running or to find a
See you on the
community of
other
other
side.
business owners to rally around. We at the Park Falls Chamber of Commerce are here to bring your business success. Joining the Chamber is one of the best moves